This is the Aputure Storm 400X, the latest light in their higher end and more pro lineup of cob lights, which they're calling their Storm range. Not their light storm range, confusingly, just the newer Storm ones. So to date, that's been the little 80C, the bigger 1000C, and then the 1200X, and the really, really big XT52. This range, they're all built to Aputure's highest level of build quality, and they all use their new Blair light engine inside. The C lights are full RGB color, and the X lights are bicolor, plus a little bit more, which we're going to explain in a bit. But that's the Storm lineup so far. And so there has been this big gap between the 80C and the 1000C, where a 400 watt light fits perfectly. This is very welcome and could be one of the best selling lights in the whole range as a result. 400 watts is a really nice practical all-rounder balance between brightness and portability. A kit with an 80C, this 400X, and then either a 1000C or a 1200X depending on preference, would cover a lot of bases for people, give a lot of options for flexible, creative lighting. So let's talk about this new Blair engine. It's effectively Aputure's new version of RGB ACL technology, which we've seen in multiple lights, and they're using this tech in both their bicolor and full color lights, which is fascinating and something that no one else is doing. The bicolor lights, like this one, are ordinary Blair, so that's blue, lime, amber, indigo, and red, while the full color C lights are Blair CG. So blue, lime, amber, indigo, red, cyan, and green. So all the Blair lights blend these colors together to create white light, rather than using white LED chips at different color temperatures and then blending between them, which is the traditional way of doing it. This means the bicolor and full color lights are very similar in many ways. The bicolor ones just have two less color chips inside. They lose those cyan and green chips. Now, using the technology this way has a few big benefits. Firstly, you get far more color control. Even in CCT mode, you can go all the way from 2500 up to 10,000 CCT, and you get full green magenta correction at all CCT values as well. It also helps color accuracy across all of those CCT values. You actually get so much color control that Aputure have even given us an HSI mode, which, while it isn't as powerful as a full RGB light, it does give a really impressive and useful selection of options for working with bright, bold RGB colors. Now, this is definitely a whole lot more than your average bicolor light. Let's see how it performs though. To measure it, we used our trusty Sekonic C800 at 1 meter distance. At 5600 Kelvin and 100% brightness, here's what we got. This is a bright light, easily bright enough to be your key light in most situations. And in terms of color accuracy, it's living up to Aputure's claims. Its color temperature is bang on the money, only a few Kelvin out. That is very impressive. 86 SSI for daylight, TM30 is close to perfect with 97 RF and 100 RG. Extended CRI is nearly 98. This is all excellent stuff. Over at 3200 Kelvin at 100% brightness, it's a similar story. 86 SSI for tungsten again, slightly less on the CRI now, and again spot on with its color temperature. Overall, very impressive results. One new feature I really like is how dim the 400X can go. Now, this is something that's nearly always ignored, but it does make a big difference when you're out there working. Yes, we often need our lights to be as bright as possible, but there's also lots of situations where you need your light to be really subtle and dim, and the 400X does a great job of giving us that control. I mean, this is on right now, for example, just on 0.1%, and it's not even overexposing me in this really dark and dimly lit piece to camera. And it keeps its color accuracy really well as well. This is 5600 Kelvin with the reflector on, taken at 100%, 25%, and then all the way down at 0.1%. The color temperature does shift a little bit, but is within 200 Kelvin throughout. And the accuracy scores like SSI and CRI, they do dip a bit when way down at 0.1%, but nowhere near as much as I was expecting them to. And look at those brightness differences, from 71,000 lux down to just 76 lux. Physically, the Storm 400X is just as impressive as the rest of the Storm lineup has been to date. They're clearly designed for professional sets. Everything is strong and rugged, and it's all IP65 rated as well. The head, the cable, and the control box is IP rated, so you don't have to worry about this getting wet when it's left out in the rain. It's pretty compact considering it's a 400 watt fixture, much smaller and lighter than a 600D Pro. Its head and yoke weigh just under 4 kilograms, and the control box is 3 kilograms. That means the control box by itself is nearly half the weight of the one on the 600D Pro. The control box has 2 battery plates on either side. These are just regular plates. They don't charge batteries anymore like on the 600D, and you do need to use 2 batteries at once. If you use 2 batteries with 12 amp outputs, you can get up to 60% brightness. If you have 15 amp batteries, you can do 75%, and if you happen to have 20 amp batteries, then you can do full brightness on battery power. The part of the physical design I am happiest to see though is this Pro Lock Bowens mount mechanism. Aputure have been putting this on all of their Storm lights, and it is fantastic. You can lock the Bowens mount down and modifiers in place so that they just don't have that annoying rattle anymore. This is great for heavier accessories like projection mounts and goes such a long way to help the system feel reassuringly robust in professional on-set environments. Everything about this design screams high quality. It's a really classy looking light. And the bag is smart as well. Aputure have included good bags with their lights for years, and this is better than ever. It's a bit slimmer than usual and now has these bungee cord ties on the top so that you can secure some light stands when traveling. Very helpful. So that's the Storm 400X. I think this is one of the best lights which we've seen from Aputure in a very long time. It fills the middle of that Storm lineup fantastically with all of the advantages which we'd already seen on those other lights, and it's as compact as a 400 watt fixture can really be. This sits just at that ordinary key light level. This is where it all started for Aputure, of course. The 300D was their first real breakout success light. It was so popular and it's still used all over the world. In many ways, this Storm 400X is the spiritual successor. It does the same job on set, but it is stronger, more robust, brighter, more color accurate, and gives you more color flexibility as well. It's a giant improvement over the Lightstorm 300D Mark II or the 300X. I can see this being very popular for customers who want to upgrade. And if you do, the sales team at ProAV would of course be happy to help. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.